Hello dear students, welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be reviewing about Unit 1, Lifestyles. Let's have a look at the overview for today's lesson. So today we'll be reviewing about the simple present tense, the present continuous tense, and the simple future tense. So let's talk about the simple present tense first. When do we use the present simple tense? We use this tense for things that we do regularly and for facts, habits, truth, and permanent situations. We often use time expressions like every day, once a week, and on Fridays. So let's have a look at some more examples. I check my email every day. So here every day is telling you that it's something that you do every day, so it's a regular activity. Here we have another example. Yuki works at the bank, which is a permanent situation too. Simple present tense. How to form the simple present tense? Well, first, for positive sentences, we use the same form as the infinitive, but without the to. For I, you, we, and they. For example, they live in Rome. So we don't need to make any changes to the verb. Let's have a look at another example. For he, she, and it. Remember, we always need to add an s or an es to the infinitive, to the verb, when we're talking about singular subjects or subject pronouns such as he, she, and it. Let's have a look at an example. Julian starts work at 9 o'clock and finishes at 5. So as you can see here, we add in an s to the verb, to the action verb, because we are talking about Julian, which is a singular subject, or if we want to change it into subject pronoun, that will be she. She starts work at 9 o'clock and finishes at 5. How to make questions with the simple present tense? To make questions with the present simple tense, we use the auxiliary verbs das and do. Das for third person, for he, she, and it, and do for you, we, and they. So for example, does the supermarket sell stamps? In this case, we're talking about something, right? Why do you read the news online every day? Do you? So we use the auxiliary verb do to make questions in present simple tense. And that is how we make questions. To make negative with don't and doesn't. I don't eat meat. It doesn't usually snow in October. So we use don't for I, you, we, and they, and we use doesn't for he, she, and it. So now we're going to talk about the present continuous tense. When do we use the present continuous tense? We use the present continuous for things that are happening at the time we are speaking, for temporary situations, and for activities that are in progress. Let's have a look at some more examples. Just a minute, I'm checking my email. That's happening now. That it's an action that is happening at the time we are speaking. Let's have a look at another example. She usually works in London, but she's working from home this week. That's a temporary situation, right? Because she usually works in London, but she's working from home this week. Another example, I'm studying economics. That is an activity that is in progress. It's just something that I'm doing at the moment. I'm studying economics. Let's Let's have a look a little bit more about the present continuous tense. We can also use the present continuous for future arrangements, usually with the time expression. So let's have a look at that. I'm seeing the doctor on Monday morning. That is the future arrangement. I'm seeing the doctor on Monday morning. So what are the time expressions? On Monday morning, or on Saturday afternoon, or on Friday night. Present continuous tense. How to form the present continuous tense. So for positive sentences, the form is a subject plus is or, which is the verb to be, plus the verb with an ing ending. Let's have a look at examples. Can I call you back later? We're having dinner right now. So we can also use the contraction form for the verb to be. We're having dinner right now, or we're having dinner right now. So as you can see, we need to add the ing ending to the verb. Present continuous tense. How do we make questions? We make questions with the verb to be before the subject, plus the verb with the ing ending too. Let's have a look at examples. What are you doing? As you can see here, we have the verb to be are before the subject. It's before the subject. It's not after the subject. What are you doing? In this case, you is the subject. And we need to add ing to the verb. Let's have a look at another example. Is it raining? Is the verb to be needs to be before the subject in order to make questions with present continuous tense. Present continuous tense, make negative. How do we make negative? We make negative with am or is plus not plus the verb with an ing ending. So let's have a look at some examples. Remember that we always need to use contraction forms, right? So he isn't, which is the shortened form of he is not, answering his mobile at the moment. I'm not doing that, which is a contraction form for I am not doing that. Another example, you aren't listening, which is a contraction form for you are not listening. They aren't coming to the party, which is a contraction form for they are not coming to the party. She isn't going home until Monday. So please remember that to make negative, we need to use the verb to be plus not plus the verb with the ing ending, and which is very common to use the contraction forms. Simple future tense. Now it's time to talk about simple future tense. The simple future is a verb tense that is used to talk about things that haven't happened yet, or things that are happening in the future. So for example, here we have, this year, Jen will read War and Peace. It will be hard, but she's determined to do it. So let's have a look at how to form the simple future tense. The formula for the simple future is will plus the root form of the verb plus the base form of the verb. For example, I will learn a new language. So we don't need to make any changes to the verb. We don't need to add ed. We don't need to add ing. We just need to use the root form of the verb or the base form of the verb. I will learn a new language. Jen will read that book. My brothers will sleep till noon if no one wakes them up. You will see what I mean. How do we make questions in simple future tense? So to ask a question in the simple future, the formula is will plus the subject plus the root form. When I say here plus the subject, can be the subject of a sentence or can be any subject pronoun. So here, for example, will Jen finish War and Peace over the summer? Jen is the subject. So we need to use will before the subject. Then we need to write down the verb in its root form. So let's have a look at the second example. Will I have the discipline to study Spanish every day? What will you buy with the money you found? So will you buy? We need to always write down the auxiliary verb will before the subject. In this case, you is the subject. And then we need to add the verb in its root form. So that's it to make questions in the simple future tense. To make the simple future negative, the formula is will plus not plus root form or the contraction form want. So let's have a look at some examples. Jen will not quit before she reaches her goal. Another example, make sure you arrive on time tomorrow because the bus will not wait for you. He won't say anything bad about this boss. I won't finish my homework in time for class. So we can whether use will not or use the contraction form won't. That is to make the simple future negative sentences. Simple future tenses. There is another way to show that something will happen in the future. Yes. See, it doesn't matter if the subject is singular or plural. The formula for the simple future does not change. We always use the auxiliary verb will. But there is another way to show that something will happen in the future. It's follow the formula. Am, is, are, which is the verb to be, plus going to, plus the root form of the verb. So remember that am, is, and are the verb to be forms. I am going to learn a new language. Yam is going to read that book. My brothers are going to sleep till noon if no one wakes them up. So going to is another way to talk about things that have happened yet or things that will happen in the future. You are going to see what I mean, which is the same as saying you will see what I mean. So that's it for today's lesson. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Please take care of yourself. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I'll see you later on. Bye bye, dear kids.